Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Katamari Forever. I'm Dylan, I'm your host, and today we're going to say goodbye to the Velvet Room here and try out one of our other cousins. Give someone else a little bit of screen time. I think today I'm going to take Fujio out for a spin, so let's grab the volcano-headed, mustache-faced cousin Fujio and head over to the Cosmos of the King of all Cosmos, where we are going to be playing a new stage. It is the camp stage. Start up the campfire to make a satellite, because that makes sense. And you'll notice here, if you direct your attention to the lower left, we have a new graphical filter in play here, wood. So pay attention as we move along to the camp stage, and you'll see that everything appears to be made of wood. There are a couple of these graphical filters that you can play around with in the game. They give it a little bit of replay value, so when you're replaying various stages, you can apply the various different graphical filters to see things in a new light. Unfortunately, this is still the King's Cosmos, so things are going to be a little bit colorless at first, but we're going to do our best to change that. And this stage is one of my favorites from We Love Katamari. This is the Campfire stage. As you can see, we have a Katamari which is on fire, and we're going to do everything in our power to keep it that way. Because if that fire goes out, we are going to game over, and I've made it this long without a game over, and I'd prefer not for it to happen this time, but it's much more likely to happen in this stage than most stages. The chance of failure might be really high in a stage like Cows and Bears, but failure in that stage actually means completing the stage with a low score, whereas here means no completion, no score, final destination. So, as you can see up there, we have a stack of logs there, and our intent is to set that on fire. And if this sounds familiar, it's actually pretty similar to the sumo wrestler stage. In a lot of ways, this is like the more advanced, challenging version of that stage, where rather than trying to topple over a sumo wrestler in a specific place on the stage within a certain amount of time, we're trying to start a fire at a certain place within a certain amount of time. So there are a lot of ways that we can game over on this stage. The first is our time running out before we get to that campfire. The second is having our fire run out. And the third is touching water. So basically, our Katamari is on fire, and the fire is slowly diminishing. By gathering inflammable objects, we allow our fire to continue. So if I go too long without collecting an inflammable object, the fire will just extinguish on its own after a few seconds. So we don't want any droughts. We want to just continue gathering objects, just like comboing together objects constantly throughout the stage, if at all possible. But if we touch water, by which I mean a body of water, at any point, our fire will be extinguished entirely, and it'll just be straight up instant game over. I'm going to be crossing a bridge here, and as you can see, there's water beneath us, so if I were to go over the side of this bridge, that would be it. It's actually a little bit hard to identify what's water due to the wood filter, but if you remember the Firefly stage, this is the same campsite where that stage was set, so everything you know about the layout of that stage applies here, and as you may recall, there's a lot of water here. There's basically a middle island and then a bank on either side, so you have to cross over water quite a lot to get from place to place on this stage. I just grabbed a broken heart there. Most of the objects on this stage are beneficial, so grabbing the broken heart is a good idea. You don't have to worry about it the way you do on the shopping stage, for example, where you don't want the heart because it'll suck in a bunch of expensive things. Really, the only objects that you don't want to roll up here are fire extinguishers, which will, they won't kill you instantly the way a body of water will, but they will diminish somewhat the size of your Katamari's flame. And there's really only one place where you have to worry about that. There's an area where there's a group of, I believe, 10 fire extinguishers set up sort of like bowling pins, and you don't want to run into those guys because that, like, if you roll up all of those fire extinguishers at once, it's basically the same as if you had gone in the water. So just be aware of where that is. I'll point it out when I get over to it. So yes, rolling up inflammable objects. The term inflammable always reminds me of an episode of The Simpsons in which Dr. Nick says, "Don't worry, it's inflammable." Like, oh, I just rolled up Kinoko, our cousin. It's like the term flammable was invented because people found the term inflammable confusing, but all the invention of the term flammable did was make inflammable seem more confusing, because now it sounds like an antonym rather than a synonym of a term which doesn't need to exist. But anyway, linguistics aside, we're doing pretty well here. Haven't touched any water yet, working our way almost up to 2 meters. To get a perfect score on this stage, you need to be at about somewhere between 4 and 5 meters. It's possible to get up to 5 meters on this size, but it's generally not necessary to, and it is really, really difficult to. Something you might have noticed is whenever you bump into people, you don't roll them up, like I'll bump into that kid there. They just run away. That's to avoid the implications of rolling up a person into a flaming Katamari. I'm glad that they avoided that unpleasantness. They could have done it by just not having any people on this stage, but this solution is a lot more comical, just bumping into someone and seeing them run away. I believe the same thing happens to these chickens. I think they run away also. Yeah, so you can't even roast a chicken if you want to. But that's okay. We don't need to be violent toward any chickens. We're just trying to start a campfire for everyone's enjoyment. Yeah, now over 2 meters, and I've explored most of the areas of the stage. But what I haven't done is get the royal present, so I'm going to be heading in that direction momentarily. Let's see if I can get these bushes first. Yeah, okay, these round shrubs, those are a nice addition. And right across this bridge here, which is the first bridge I crossed over, actually, is our royal present. You can see it down below there. So I'm going to roll off the side of the bridge and grab that, and then use the hop to get back up. This is a stage that was made a lot easier by the invention of the Prince Hop. You can play it on Katamari Classic mode in this game, so that there's no Broken Heart and no Prince Hop, to get a better sense of how it was in the original We Love Katamari. And it's a really different experience. Like, the first time that I played this stage on We Love Katamari, I think I hated it. I probably drove directly into the water and said, well, this is dumb. But after playing it a lot more in this game, both in classic mode and with the Prince Hop, it's not strictly because of the Prince Hop that I like it. After playing it in this game, I've really come to enjoy it. It's one of the more challenging stages in the sense that you're always in danger of losing. Like, I've gotten up to really, really large sizes and then just hit a stretch where I didn't roll up an item fast enough and then the fire went out on its own. Like what almost happened there. My fire almost ran out because I went a couple seconds without getting any items. Like, you can be doing really well, get a really large Katamari, but if you don't use it, then you lose it. Alright, so this is the scariest part of the stage right here, is rolling across that bridge and picking up all the long logs on it. It's really necessary to get a good score on this stage, though. So you just kind of have to hope for the best and try to do it. Because if you run into a person... Oh yeah, the fire extinguishers I was talking about were just on the left there. If you run into a person, even though the person runs away, they still stop you as if you're hitting an object you can't roll up. So the row of fishermen on top of that bridge mean that you have to, like, stagger your movement. And it's really dangerous staggering your movement when you're rolling up the thing you're moving across. If you're not careful, you're going to, like, bounce back into the water. Alright, so don't worry too much about this waterfall as I'm going behind it. You're not really in any danger of your fire going out because you touched the waterfall. It's further away than it looks from the cliff there. Alright, picking up the last of these bamboo blinds over here at the house, and yes, excellent, picking up these wooden steps. We're now over 4 meters, which means I'm going to be looking at getting up to the campfire there and finishing up the stage. And well-timed, too, because we currently have 1 minute on the clock. They give you, oh, no, okay, that was scary, almost went in the water. They give you what seems like a lot of time on this stage, 8 minutes, but really it's quite possible to use up that entire time. If you're not playing it too safely. Like, obviously, if you don't care too much about what score you get and you're just trying to finish the stage, then yeah, you can do that in like 2 minutes or something. You can't roll directly up here and just touch the fire right away. It's a lot like the sumo wrestler where you have to get up to a requisite size in order to be able to actually successfully start the fire. So there is that, but that's pretty easy to do. So really, you just have to avoid touching the water. Oh yeah, this map right here, this campground map, when I played this game originally, around the time it came out, I was going for 100% collection, and for some reason that was one of the last objects I found. I guess because it only appears, well, it's only possible to roll it up on this stage. Oh crap, my fire's going out. No! Oh my god! That was really unfortunate. 51 seconds on the clock. We had what I fully believe is a 100-point Katamari on our hands, and I just let it slip through my fingers, but that's okay. I can do that again. And it means that I finally get to show off the Game Over minigame. I'm kind of excited for this. I'll tell you who's not excited, though, the King of All Cosmos. So you weren't listening, or you just ignored it. He's not happy at all with our performance. he's not willing to wait another 8 minutes for us to get a new Katamari. So we're going to have to suffer the consequences. So here we are in the failure game over minigame. King dropping rocks on us, and in, oh crap, I just walked right into one. And in classic asteroid style, as they collide, they're going to split into 2 each. And so you're able to suffer 2 hits, but the 3rd hit of a rock will end your game. So if you just want to get back to rolling Katamari as fast as possible, you just want to walk into rocks. But if you want a high score, then you try to avoid them. And I believe your hitbox in this game is based on where you're touching the ground. Because if you take Drive into this minigame, he's like invincible, because Drive only touches the ground in one place because he has 1 tire, whereas the other cousins each have 2 legs. So he has a really small hitbox, which gives him a huge advantage. Which is really not very important, because this minigame doesn't do anything unless you're going for PlayStation Network trophies, because there's one of those for getting like 300,000 points in this minigame, and that's incredibly difficult to do without Drive. As you can see, the high score in the top right is for this file only, so it doesn't include my high score, which I did get with Drive. But anyway, let's once again take on the Campfire stage. And we're back. I've spared you the boring beginning of the stage. We're currently just over a meter here. And I once again have to roll up Kinoko because we didn't successfully complete the stage, which means that we didn't successfully collect Kinoko or the royal present on this stage. So I'm having to roll those guys up again. I'm going to head over and grab the royal present next. Can I get these logs yet? Yeah, excellent. Okay. Logs are really important on this stage, which is appropriate considering we're trying to start a fire. Also really important, mushrooms. I'm not really sure what the fascination is with mushrooms on this stage. Are like mushrooms particularly flammable? I guess they are, because not only are there mushroom objects on this stage, but the cousin Kinoko is mushroom themed, as is the royal present. You can't see it, it's in the box now, so you'll just have to guess what it is, but it is mushroom themed, I will tell you that. Alright, working our way up to 2 meters, 5 minutes left on the clock. Trying not to die like I did last time. Hopefully gonna get up to 4.5 meters or so. I'd really like to get that 100-point score here, since I feel this is one of the stages that I am better at in this game. It's certainly a challenging one, but I think I have a pretty good grasp on it, so I would hope that I could do well. Anyway, this house is a really important location. It has a lot of big wooden objects around it. First these bamboo screens, and then later the steps leading up to it. Also these bushes, just like this little corner of the map is really easy to disregard because it's like up on this hill here. It's not part of any of the circular paths around the stage. I need to get fire now. Okay. But I'm not big enough to get these long logs, am I? Okay, I'm not. But yeah, as I was saying, it's easy to disregard the house because it's not on one of the major loops around the stage. So if you're not actively seeking it out, it's not a place that you would naturally go to. But yeah, lots of good wooden stuff there. Unlike this little campground here, which does not have very many good things in it, and does have that bowling setup of fire extinguishers, which is right over. Where is it? Did I roll it up? No, it's behind me right now. Not something I have to worry about, though it is something I live in constant fear of. It's generally not how I game over on this stage. Actually, you saw how I usually game over on this stage. It's usually not a matter of going the wrong places, it's just a matter of running out of things to roll up, because I get greedy. I get a good Katamari, a nice big one, but I don't want the stage to end. I want to do better, so I keep pushing myself, but the stage has this, like, self-correcting difficulty, whereas the longer you go on, the fewer objects there are to get, so the more likely you are to experience a drought and fail. Alright, we got up to 3 meters, which means I'm rolling up long logs, and there you see what I didn't do last time, which is rolling into the water by hitting one of the fishermen on top of the logs, and that's why it's the scariest part of the stage. So that's 2 game overs in a row, first 2 of the series back to back, so let's roll it back and try again. I don't have anything against the term flammable, I obviously use it myself, I just don't understand how anyone can realistically have an issue with the term inflammable. I mean, it's such a logical extension of the verb to inflame. I mean, come on. Okay, so third round here, I'm going to be really embarrassed if I can't make it this time. Just over 3 meters here, as you can see. I rolled up all the long logs on the bridge there. Let's see if I'm able to get the campground map yet. I don't think I am. Alright, so I would like to get that before moving along to the end of this stage. So let's get a few more things. Oh, this is a scary jump here. Let's jump over the river. Ha, see? Yeah, alright, so that's actually not that dangerous at this size, but it's useful to do when you're at a smaller size, just to cross faster than having to take the bridge, and it's a lot scarier when you do it then. Alright, anyway, going to avoid those fire extinguishers, trying to get the last few flammable objects here in this area. There's also a bear over there who runs away the same way that people do when you hit him. Okay, so now up to 4 meters, 80 centimeters. This is even bigger than that first one I threw away. So yeah, looking pretty good here. I'm going to get the campground map, and then I'm going to head up the hill to where the bonfire goes, where I will be able to finish things off once again, going up here with about a minute left on the clock. Well, a little over a minute, but yes, going to roll around, get these long wooden fences, and there, hit the big campfire, just short of 5 meters. I hope it's still a perfect score, pretty sure it is. But yes, we have ignition. Let the revelry begin. Off we go. Royal Rainbow! Feels good to have that one behind me. I really do love that stage, but if it had taken me any more tries than that, I would have started to get a little bit frustrated with myself. Anyway, here's our Katamari, nice and full of flames. Very, very festive, very, very bright. But how did we do on score? Yes, 4 meters, 93 centimeters, 7 millimeters. What does that add up to? What did we get the most? Mostly plants, also fruit and partitions. All very inflammable objects. Shockingly combustible. Alright, and 100 points as predicted. Glad to see that. Happy to have another 100-point score on the roster there. And I believe we also got some cousins and presents, one of each to be specific. Yes, there we go. Kinoko, who simply looks like a mushroom. And oh, what? I forgot the royal present. I can't believe that I forgot the royal present this time. Oh man. Alright, so I'm gonna have to go back for that. But before I do, let's check in on the Queen's Diary, episode 4. Okay, so you saw previously where to find it. Here's what it looks like out of the box. So there we are with the mushroom royal present. I played it pretty safe rolling it up this time, so we're just going to be making stardust out of this pitiful 45-point rose satellite, instead keeping our existing 100-point compost satellite. So, with that, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time.